Well, welcome, and this is my first video about watches. I'm going to present you here on my new channel, Watch On, with a lot of fun and cool watches in all kinds of prices. I will offer you guys a variety of videos about all sorts of watches. And I think you should expect this watch channel, which is one new one amongst a lot of great channels on YouTube, to be about watches and stuff relating to watches. In this video I'm going to present you with 5 very fun and cool summer watches, all priced below $200–250, and some of the watches I would expect you to be able to buy off the internet for maybe $130, $150 or $160. So they're not expensive watches, and that's the point of this. They should be great fun summer watches, and watches that can take a beating. So point number 1, it's the price. The price must be below $200–250. Point number 2, the watch's movements must be automatic, mechanical, automatic, or solar driven. Because what is cooler than during the summer with a lot of sun to have a solar driven watch? Number 3, I've chosen to exclude all watches not on a rubber strap, because I think you're going to go into the water, you're going to go into the pool, maybe you're going into some sand or something, and a rubber strap just is better fitted for the kind of activities you do in the summer, and also you tend to sweat a lot on your wrists, so I think a rubber strap is quite cool, and it's easy to clean in the evening or in the morning before you put on the watch again. And number 4, the watch must be waterproof, at least for 100 meters. And point number 5, I think the watches must be widely available. And actually some of the watches I'm presenting you with, I couldn't find here in Denmark, where I'm from, in Scandinavia, Northern Europe, but I was able to order them off the internet. Okay, let's get started. Well, like I said, the first one is the famous SKX, Seiko SKX 009. But if you know this model, you can straight away see that this is different. This is my own modification of the SKX 009. So what I decided to do was to order some new bezels for this Seiko SKX 009. And I also removed the original Jubilee metal bracelet and fitted this rubber strap. I think it gets a more sporty and a more raw look to be on a rubber strap. So as you can see, this is green. It's a green bezel. So I attached this bezel. So now it's actually an SKX 009 Hulk. But here you have the original bezel, the Pepsi bezel, and I also bought the, if I can just get it here, the Batman. So I can actually change these bezels to have a completely new watch. And what is there to say about this watch? It's 42 millimeters in diameter. It's hardlex crystal, and it's automatic. It's automatic driven, and it's, I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube about this watch, but it's actually a really cool beater watch. And you can mod it, like you see here. I have modded this watch, and I think it gets a cool look. So this watch is available a lot of places on the internet. I got this one for about $240 on Amazon. And what I really like about this watch, it's quite heavy. It's got this quite quite brutal look. I think it looks like a tool watch. This is meant to be used, and it's water resistant down to 200 meters, so you can easily go and go to the pool or maybe dive a bit at the beach with this watch. Don't be mistaken. I own Rolex, I own Omegas. I until recently owned a Tag Heuer Aquaracer, and of course they are better watches. The Seamaster or the Submariner are better watches. But at this price point, like you will see in a lot of other videos, this is a great watch. And what's really great about it is that you can mod it. And it's quite sturdy. It can take a beating, and it looks quite cool. If you see it, if you look at my wrists, I've got maybe a medium-sized wrist. It's really got its presence. So maybe you should consider, if you need a summer beater, to invest a little more and buy a cool rubber strap and maybe mod it. Or you can just wear the Pepsi bezel. With the Pepsi bezel, you can maybe hope that it gets faded a bit. Looks quite cool. So this is the first of the 5 cool, quite cheap summer watches I'm going to present you with. Well, number 2 is another Japanese watch, another Seiko. And here you have it, the Monster. Here you go. Sorry, just turned it the wrong way. So here you have the Monster. And actually, it kind of reminds me of the SKX009. Not, of course, not in the design of the watch. Actually, it's quite the same strap. This is actually a better strap than one I bought. This comes original with this one. This model is called SRP313K1. The K1 is the one with the rubber strap like this one, and you can get a version called K2 as well, and it's with a metal bracelet, steel bracelet. But I like it with a rubber strap, and it's the rules for this video, so here we go, rubber strap. And why it reminds me of the SKX009 is because it's got this quite brutal design. It's quite heavy watch, and I haven't worn this that much, but I'm sure it can take one hell of a beating, this watch. It almost looks like a watch that wants to have a fight with you. Putting this on my wrist, you can see it's quite brutal. It really has its presence, and like the SKX009, it's Hardlex crystal, so it's quite durable. It can take a beating, and you got the bezel, rotating bezel, of course. And when you look at the diameter, the SKX009 is 42. This is 42.3 millimeters. So a quite honest and brutal watch. And I must say, of course, if you know something about Seiko watches, the loom is just excellent on this one. I'm extremely impressed with this one. And I think the movement is quite good. Of course, there's a difference. If you get a movement in a Seiko watch below $200, $250, of course you won't get a movement like you do in an Omega or Rolex or even the more expensive brands. But you get an honest, good movement for a whole other price. So this is my number 2. Now for the next one, we have a Citizen. The Japanese, they can really make quite cool, fun watches at low prices. I really like this watch. So let's have a look. So this one, let's remove this. This one is the Citizen BN01000-18E, and this is actually a a solar driven watch. As you can maybe see, it says Eco Drive right here. Sorry, this is not really, yes, you can maybe see it says Eco Drive. And Eco Drive is actually Citizen's really cool technology. They have put in some really cool solar driven technology. So you actually got a little, this is actually a solar panel. So this watch is essentially actually a quartz watch, but the difference is that this one will actually keep on running. It just needs to get exposed in some light. So I checked up on this one, the Citizen ProMaster Eco Drive, on the internet, and when it's fully charged, they expect you to have battery lifetime for 6 months. So I can actually put this out in the sun for maybe half an hour, and then I can put it in my closet for 6 months, and it should still be running when I take it out. And you, of course, you get the bezel, get 200 meters water resistance, and just for the summer, I really like this orange rubber band. I think it's really cool. See the back here? Well, I just think it's a cool watch. I really like it. It fits great on the wrist. It just feels so natural to have on the wrist. And it's not as heavy as the Seikos, but still, it's quite a sturdy, heavy watch. And you get, of course, the crown, and it's a screw-down crown. This is actually, well, I'm not going to reveal which one is going to win, but, and here you have some of the box. But it's really cool, and it's 41 millimeters in diameter, and it's mineral crystal, so it can take a beating. And well, maybe you can see it if you look at the crown, just a cool little feature where you get the Citizen logo. And you can get this in a variety of colors. I've seen it in blue, and I've seen it in yellow. I think maybe you can get it in green as well, and then you will see that the hands and the logo, the Citizen logo, of course, is orange because it has to match the bezel. Not the bezel, the rubber band, or maybe it's the other way around. We move on to another Citizen. Still the same, cheap cardboard box, but who cares? It's the watch. And here you have it. This is the biggest one of them all. This is 45 millimeters in diameter, and it's quite heavy, and it's maybe like the Seco Monster. You get a quite brutal watch. It's not as brutal in the bezel and the design as the Seco Monster, but it's quite heavy, and it's got a quite brutal presence. It's just saying, here, I'm a big watch. Look at me. And like you said, you saw with the ProMaster, they also fitted the colors to the band, or the band to the colors. So that's pretty cool. And this is also Eco Drive, and like the ProMaster, it's water resistant down to 200 meters. This one you should be able to get for around $100. It's the cheapest of the watches in this review, or this video. See it here, the back side. And if you look at my wrist, I got maybe a quite normal sized wrist, about maybe 18 centimeters. This is really big. It's big on my wrist. So if you're going to wear this watch, you should know you're going to wear a big watch. So let's move on to the final one. And we are going to stay in Japan, of course. This is an Orient. And Orient, they have got a lot of praise for their watches. And this one is actually a cool cat too. This is the Orient CEM 65004M, the Orient Mako. And you can get this model with a metal bracelet as well. It's actually fun because it's got two. This one says another serial number, but you can, for some reason, it's got this tag, hang tag. And this is an automatically driven watch with an in-house movement. The orange bezel. I really think the orange colors, see it here, really, they're really cool. It's summer colors. And once again, we get 200 meters water resistance. We get a cool rubber strap. This is actually a really good rubber strap. It's a bit harder than the one on the Orange Citizen ProMaster, but it wears really comfortable. And you get a couple of dolphins. It's a cool little detail. And the back side. And if you don't know this Orient Mako, you will notice two crowns. This one is actually for setting the date. So you screw this out, and maybe you can see it here. You see, no, I'm sorry, you don't set the date, you set the day. If you're going into the water, it's really important you remember to tighten both of the crowns. If you look at this, both of the crowns. And also a cool feature with this one, they got the logo on the crown. It's quite hard to see. Maybe you can just sense it. It's actually quite heavy. You can feel that this is an automatic movement. So there's a lot of more machinery in this watch than in a solar-driven eco drive watch. And if you look at the wrist, it's 41 millimeters, this one. And this one, you should be able to get this one at maybe $150, which is actually a really attractive price point for a automatic in-house movement driven watch. Well, the Orient watch company makes a lot of quite cool watches, and the Mako is maybe one of the most famous models. And I like this one, but of course got the bezel. And the strange thing about this one, this bezel is really hard. So actually it's the worst bezel of the 5 watches because it's so hard to, but I don't think I'm going to rely on this watch any way if I'm going to go to dive, some real diving. But it's a cool summer beater watch, and I really like the orange. So that was the 5th watch, and which one should be the winner? Well, missing one. Here it is. Of course, it was the monster hiding in the dark. So here you go, guys. 5 cool summer watches, and maybe we should do it like some of the reality TV shows. Which one gets voted out the first? And my least favorite, number 5 in this competition, is this one. I actually, when I looked at the pictures and read about the watch, I thought it was quite cool. It is cool, and some guys like bigger watches. But this one, I think, is the one that wears the least best. The rubber strap is okay, it's quite cool, but it just doesn't feel right wearing it. It's too big. So number 5, but also the cheapest of them all. So if you like big watches and need a beater watch at around $100, this one is the one to get. And which one comes 3rd? No, 4th. Sorry. I'm gonna say this one. Well, I think it's something about the really brutal and rugged design. You should really be into quite brutal, heavy looking watches, and well, it's just not my favorite design. But you with all Seiko dive watches, you get a cool watch at around $200 and $250 maybe. And the movement is quite okay. I think in the long run, and I think in the long run it gets a bit too brutal for me. And I also think it's hard to actually set the hand directly on a minute, so it's not that easy to read if you need to know the precise time. So number 4. Number 3, and it's the Orient. This is actually a really cool watch, and a lot of kudos for the automatic movement. And it's a curious thing to have this date push button, and the rubber strap is really good, and I really love the orange bezel, but I'm not that impressed with the movement. It's in-house movement, but I need to be able to manually wind the watch, and I think it just doesn't keep going for very long. So maybe in the morning you have to set the watch again. But it's a cool watch, good summer look, and I actually want this quite a lot. So not a bad watch. None of these 5 watches are directly bad watches, but we need to have a winner. So number 2. Yeah. Actually, if I reveal number 2, you will know which one is number 1. And I must say, this one is the SKX 009 is number 2. I really like this watch, and it's a close battle with the ProMaster. And I know this watch has a cult following, and I can understand why. If you need a reliable, cool looking watch with some good history, and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars, this is the one. I understand why you guys get this watch, why it's so popular. It's got quite a cool movement. It actually starts, you almost only have to pick up the watch and then it starts. And it keeps going, the power reserve is quite good. So a really nice watch. Yeah, you can stay in the picture because you're number 2, but this one is my favorite. And maybe I'm a bit nerdy, but I really love that it's so technology driven, high tech. This one is solar driven, and it just keeps going and going. And I think the bezel is really cool looking. It's not too, too nice looking. It's got this quite raw tool watch kind of look. Actually, it's black. It's a black, a black dial, and you got a black and silvery gray bezel, and well, not too much. Of course, you got the logo and you got the colors, but not too much unnecessary attention to details to make this watch look something it's not. It's a quite cheap watch, around $160 to $200, and it just keeps going. And it's actually, I love wearing this watch, and I love the orange rubber strap. I love how the dial and the logo, now you can't see the logo because the minute marker is over the logo, how they complement each other. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner, and I hope you weren't too bored with this video. It's my first video, so of course I will try to get better all the time, but please like my videos, subscribe, and please comment what is your opinion. What kind of watches at around $200, $250 would you recommend for the summer? It should be a watch not too uncomfortable to wear, and it should be, able to take a beating and could handle some water. So what are your comments, guys? Thank you a lot for watching.